Welcome to What's the Deal with Sam? Starring Sam Lilly. Join Sam as he discusses a wide variety of topics.
Bang
Now let's start the show.
Thank you. Holy shit, I shaved. Okay, so... Sorry for the shitty intro, but what's the deal with... Let's see if I can get this in the shot. Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis. Strangely enough, it's for Game Boy Advance, not the Genesis. What? Alright. I want to just say that this game sucks. Sucks. Okay? It has potential. They fucked it up. Okay, so, yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog was a game made on the Sega Genesis. An old 16-bit console, you know, kind of competed with the Super Nintendo. And the thing is, it's weird that this game is bad because you think it would just be the, you know, Super Nintendo, or the Genesis game. Portable on your Game Boy Advance. So first I'm going to say, I want to go through these things. There are a few minor things that are shitty about it that don't really affect it that much. The most nitpicky thing, but one of the most disappointing things, is the sound on this game. And if any of you have played the Sega Genesis, you know it has a more unique sound. Maybe it sounds more like some of the arcade games, sort of. It has a much different sound than the Super Nintendo did. Has a different sound than the Game Boy Advance does. It sounded awesome on there. But this has Game Boy Advance kind of sounds for tones and sound effects and stuff. So it sounds way different, and that's really disappointing. I don't know if they couldn't get it closer, or if it's, you know, if it's just, you know, they decided to make it sound like this because it's on Game Boy Advance. So it's like, it sounds like, you know, the Game Boy Advance sort of MIDI kind of sound effect things. That's what this sounds like. But, you know, let that go because that doesn't affect gameplay. It's just the sound. Something that slightly affects gameplay is that there's a weird... I say it's minor because it doesn't happen often, but there are a few points where, like, it doesn't load the platforms properly. Like, I think they might still be there, but they don't load, like, visually the platform. I had a few times where I know there was supposed to be a platform there because I played it before, so I would jump over and, like, I think it's there, and then once I was, like, directly next to it, you know, it would appear, and you could still jump towards it, and then it would appear before you land on it. But it's hard to jump blindly into a pit if you don't know if there's going to be a platform there or not. So if, like, it's your first time playing the game, you know, if you haven't played it a million bajillion times, or, you know, you just don't know, you're not going to, like, feel too good about just jumping down into a fucking pit. It can be bad, but like I said, it was a minor thing, it only happened so many times. But another thing that's a minor thing as well is that the screen is pushed in more on here for the Game Boy Advance because the screen is smaller, and instead of having it, you know, just have it smaller and just keep it the same distance away or whatever, so you can, you know, easier to see what's going on and such. You're already kind of a big sprite in the Genesis version. On this, it zooms in even further, so you're a bigger sprite, and you can see less of what's ahead of you. Now, if you play the game a lot, you already know what's going to be coming up for most of the stuff, so it's not that big of a deal. And certainly you can adjust to it if you're new to the game, but the thing is, it makes it very fucking hard and frustrating because you can't really see what's in front of you. You have to learn where everything is. That's part of the game, I suppose you could argue, but it's nice to be able to see something in front of you, and the fact that you can see even less than the original is kind of sad. It's kind of... well, it makes it unnecessarily harder. The one thing that is absolutely terrible about this game, that fucking ruins it, is inconsistent frame rate. Okay? Frame rate sucks. And it's not like some games where it's just worse, like slower. It goes both ways. There are parts in this game where it runs faster than the Genesis game ever did, which fucks with your momentum. Again, if you played it before, you're going to be kind of weirded out that you can go so fast in places. The momentum's different, and you can just pick up speed really fast. It's really, really much faster than it was supposed to be. There's a power-up to make it go faster. That's in here, too. So, like, they're not even accounting for that yet. At some points, it's like it runs better. And that'd be fine if the whole thing ran better because, you know, it's on a Game Boy Advance. It's a much newer system. You know, how many goddamn years after the fucking Genesis, should be able to run decently, right? But then there are also times where it dips below that frame rate in places that the Genesis version never had a fucking problem. And so you're going from faster than you're ever supposed to go to slower than, in places where it never did that before. It's very confusing for people who haven't played before. You might be able to adjust to it if you've never played it before. You know, if you played it before, you know some of this shit is going to be confusing. If you've never played it before, you can kind of adjust it. Oh, it gets slow here, kind of a thing happens. But it's still pretty unplayable at that point in some levels. Like, I mean, from going from so fast to so slow is very jarring, and it's hard to control yourself when you go zip. Yeah, you know, it's like you can't. There's no happy medium. Maybe the whole thing either should have ran better, or if it couldn't handle running better, maybe it should have just, ran a little bit. I don't know, ran a consistent speed, a little bit slower than that. It would have been fine. But instead, it's got these weird inconsistencies, and it's very strange. It's very fucking weird that would happen, and it ruins the gameplay. I don't really know how to get past the fucking, that underwater labyrinth level. Going in and out of water, it slows way the fuck down whenever it feels like it, and it speeds up in places. Good luck fucking beating that. Like, that level wasn't hard enough already. Jesus Christ. And that's probably why this was, zoomed in more, so it didn't have to load as much, so it could probably move faster, and so that the things that were supposed to load, those platforms probably could load. It'd give it more of a chance to. But still, the whole thing comes together. It's kind of a piece of shit. In fact, I didn't really know anything until I looked up online, and I guess this is apparently one of the worst Sonic games ever released because it's so unplayable. I'm glad it's not just fucking me. I'm not the only one who's like, this game sucks. And what I don't get is why the fuck doesn't this work? Why? They've ported Super Nintendo games. I mean, what do you got? You got Super Mario World is on here. Both of those, actually. I held up 3 fingers, actually, accidentally. There's both of those. There's like Final Fight. There's A Link to the Past. They've successfully ported those games and actually been able to enhance them a bit too in some parts. There's no reason why this Genesis game shouldn't be able to fucking work on the system how many goddamn years later. For the fucking anniversary of it, no less. Like, what the fuck are they doing? So that's fucking unforgivable. And when you also look at the fact that there's Sonic Advance and Sonic Advance 2, they play a lot like the older games, but they're zoomed out more, so you have a smaller sprite so you can see what the fuck's going on, and they run at a pretty damn consistent speed. Why the fuck couldn't they do that with this one? What the fuck? Is this Sega's fuck you to Nintendo for partially running them out of business? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know how this happened, and it's unexcusable, really. I don't even know why. I don't know. I guess the real question is, what's the deal? What's the deal with this being so bad when there's really no reason? And I have another version of it now, so that works. I don't need this. I'd rather play the fucking Virtual Console version, which is more exact. It runs better. It's a little laggy because of the Virtual Console thing, and the TV may be part of it. I don't fucking know. But it's better than this. Fuck. I mean, it was a great idea to have it portable, but shit. It's like Sonic the Hedgehog with the ground. What's the deal with sand? What's the deal with sand? What's the deal with sand? What's the deal